So, I want to start my lesson this morning from a quote from our founder, Ernest Holmes. And it says, "The person who is glad will surround themselves with people who are happy, and life will be a continual enjoyment." Ernest Holmes. Are you glad? Are you surrounded by happy people? You know, all month we've been talking about this spiritual aspect of play in our lives. And early in the month, we defined play as an expression of the God qualities of joy, of balance, of freedom. You know, that spontaneity that comes when we're living in alignment with our best selves. And then the next week, we talked about how laughter is so healing and how desirable and helpful having a sense of humor can be in balancing our energy and our bodies. And last week, y'all had a beautiful, playful time with Bob and Shannon. And I hope that that sense of spirit that they brought that sense of balance to you. So today I want to talk about the benefits of play and how that play has benefits it can have on all of our relationships and in our community. I want to talk about that today. So relationships are the foundation of our lives. You know, we're going to spend an entire month of lessons about relationships. I think it's July. So you can look forward to like a deeper dive into relationships that month. But today I just want to explore the element of play in our relationships. And there is no greater feeling than to be experiencing joy in the presence of someone else. You know, when you're glad, as Holmes describes it, surrounded by happy people, life is pretty sweet. Life is pretty sweet. It's simply wonderful. It's amazing to feel joy and freedom and balance within ourselves, but to share it with another or a group of people is so very, very satisfying. You know, as we shared in our membership meeting earlier this month, one of our three major goals in this community, one of our three top goals is fun. Growth, education, and fun. Those are our goals. You know, why do you think fun is so important? Important enough that we'll make it one of our primary goals in a spiritual center. Fun is important because it helps us create meaningful connections with each other. Playful, joyful connections in community. So what would happen if our whole community embraced the idea of playing together as a key component in our year of growing and living this more satisfying life that we're trying to talk about all year? So here's what I believe. We talked about this in Sacred Cup this morning. We are here by divine appointment. I believe that all of our souls have brought us here together to do a part of our journey together. That's what I believe. I don't believe that there are any coincidences whatsoever. We are supposed to be here together this morning for the betterment of each other. We're here to learn from each other, to help each other, and to heal each other. Every Sunday and every event brings together a unique kaleidoscope of people, doesn't it? You know, no, this room will never be exactly like this again. We are here by appointment together. And the individual people that are a part of each moment is important because our souls called us together to be present. Every time we gather with members of our spiritual tribe, we are there by appointment. I believe we are soulmates, and therefore we are soulmate playmates. Okay? So remember back in elementary school, it's a long time for me, y'all, but back in elementary school, when you were young enough to find your playmates on the playground, out behind the school, how did you do that? Who did you gravitate towards on the playground? Most of us gravitate towards the kids who are doing or playing the way we want to play, right? And they're enjoying the same kinds of things that we enjoy. If you think back, what was that for you? What was that for you? I know this sounds highly unlikely, but the thing I remember most about playing on the playground in elementary school was walking on stilts. Okay, so I must, it's the truth. I was in like the 4th or 5th grade, something like that, because I know which elementary school I was at. And our PE teacher introduced our school to stilts. We had these dozens of pairs of wooden stilts leaning up against the playground wall, and we could try them, right? And I was determined to master it, right? And I wasn't alone. There was a whole group of stilt walkers every day out on the playground trying to get good at it. And we were giving each other tips, and we were cheering each other on. We would take a few steps, and then we'd lose our balance. And believe it or not, there was a lot of laughter, but I don't remember anybody ever hurting themselves. How that's true, it's true. I don't remember any blood or nothing. So we were the stilt walkers, but there were clusters of other kids playing kickball together or tetherball or hopscotch or whatever. Everyone found their playmates by doing what they loved to do and joining others that were doing the same thing. I don't think it's that different for us as adults. I think we've come here to be a part of a spiritual community because we're interested in the same thing, spiritual stilt walking, right? And most of us are trying to live very positively and satisfyingly. That's what we're trying to do. And on this soul level journey, we are playmates, these soulmate playmates. And together we have set these goals that we want to play with growth, education, and fun. That's our goals. That's the playground we're playing on. Growth and education are occurring every time we're together. Every time we learn something new. We take a class or a workshop, or we come here on Sunday morning and open ourselves up to a lesson. And on the surface, that's what y'all come here to do. That's what people come here to do, is to learn something. But we're still on the playground of life, looking for others who enjoy the same things we enjoy and have fun and make friends. And we do that here in our spiritual stilt walking. That's what we're doing. We want to be around others who are willing to cheer us on and give us tips and help us figure out how to take step after step towards our emotional freedom. And when we find our balance long enough to break free of old patterns, there are people around high-fiving us, when we do it. We want to laugh together and play together, right? So what is required of us if we agree to be soulmate playmates? The first thing I want to point out is that we have to be willing to open ourselves up, right? And to be with each other in a fun way. We have to do what we did in elementary school and walk towards the others who are already doing what we want to do. And that can be hard, can't it? So often we feel like we're not active participants in whatever's going on, so we're just going to hold back. We're just going to hold back. The wax is dripping out of the calendar, out of the candle, like a stream. That's so funny. Like, what the heck? So Ernest Holmes says this. Let me get back to a quote. If we feel then that we are simply onlookers and not participants in the game of life, we should rediscover the youthful spirit of that childlike joy which gives us the energy, happiness, security, and faith we had as children. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have a hard time joining a group that has already formed. We moved so much when I was a kid. I was always the new kid on the block, always. It seemed to me like everyone had already made all their friends, right? They all knew each other, and where would I fit in? And I was often at the beginning so shy and tentative, and I was scared of rejection. Can you relate to that? I hope I'm not the only one. But eventually the invitation would come to join in the fun. Or maybe a teacher would take me by the hand and go introduce me to the group that was playing as the new girl in the class. And my job was to accept the invitation to play, even if it was a bit awkward at first. And it's very much the same thing for us as adults, isn't it? We come into a community like this one, or into a new neighborhood, or into a new work environment or whatever, and it's easy to pull back and stay separate. But eventually, the invitation will come. It'll come to join a committee, or to go out for coffee afterward, or participate in some kind of fun outing. And opening up to connection is the doorway to being a soulmate playmate. Believing that you're right where you're supposed to be always is also a key to opening that door. And then once you're through the door, it's time to be ready to play. And it's not always easy to allow ourselves to be seen in that vulnerable light that inherently comes with playing, right? It involves overcoming the fear of kind of taking off the mask of formality and allowing your inner child to get out and romp around a little bit. And accepting these invitations to play is an essential step, because when someone is willing to leave their comfort zone and invite you into their inner world to play, you got to show up and somehow connect to your sense of joy and wonder and say yes. And say yes. Charles Schaefer said, "We are never more fully alive, more completely ourselves, or more deeply engrossed in anything than when we are playing." You know, Randy posted a post on Facebook that said, and I'm going to loosely quote it, something like, "It takes 400 times of repetition to learn something, except when you're doing it in play, it takes you far less." You know, you can learn faster when you're playing. So because of this truth that we learn better in play, and we're all, you know, more fully alive in play, we're able to be known more deeply and completely in the space of play. The expansion of possibilities and the flowering of relationships that can occur in that will soon have you, excited, because once you go in and have fun with a group of people, then you want to go again, right? And you learn to extend those invitations to others to grow the group. And that's another part of the equation. We've got to always be welcoming and open to other people into this circle of our spiritual stilt walking circle. Extending the invitation to join in the fun is so important in our community. You know, we tend to be pretty happy people around here, and we could share that joy with as many other people as we can. It's always our goal to have opportunities for shared playfulness with everyone here at CSLTB. Our membership meeting, if you were there, we talked about all kinds of fun things we could do that we do have on the calendar. Game nights and movie nights and open mics and social outings and all of those things. Allow your soul to lead you into those play opportunities in community. Because there's this aspect of playfulness that allows you to kind of loosen up in front of other people. Ernest Holmes wrote this too: "The present moment can never provide us with more joy than we are able to embody." Embody. Loosening up in front of other people, being our authentic, silly, joyful selves, gives people a glimpse into our hearts. It's easiest to be truly open and authentic when it's part of our culture to do so, when the whole culture, the whole community embodies the joy that we seek. You know, we keep talking about this Saturday Night Vibe event that we had a couple of, month or so ago. We had this game night where we answered random questions. And the person who was it had to figure out where the answers matched with the people in the room, right? So things took a sudden, unexpected turn when the question, they're laughing because they were there. The question was something like, what would you do if you were all alone? So that evening had reached that magic moment where everyone was ready to loosen up a little bit and be silly. So almost every answer to that question involved nudity. Look around the room. Sleeping naked, dancing naked, doing various and sundry things naked. You get the picture, right? It was hysterical. It was hysterical, but it was so bonding. It was so bonding because remember, after the person tried to match, everybody had to own their own answer. Oh, it was me that wanted to do that naked. Oh, it was me, right? Suddenly it had become part of the culture that night to be wildly authentic and just a bit naughty too. It was a fun evening. It just got more outrageous and fun from that moment on. So when we open up to being playmates and we loosen our grip on our own image of dignity and decorum, we find ourselves square in the middle of our own authenticity and vulnerability. We allow ourselves to be seen. And I sense a craving in the depth of this community to being authentic and being seen. That's what we want. And your invitation is to step into that juicy space that's extremely rare in our culture. It's rare. And I go back to the Holmes quote, the moment I can only provide as much joy as I'm willing to embody myself. And around here, we're trying to create as many moments of that joyful embodiment, meaning living it, as we can. And let's talk about games for a second. Because often when we talk about playing as adults, we talk about games. So I love the way we played at the game night last time, because we played in this non-traditional way, because we did not play in a winner-loser way. At the end of the night, the game was supposed to have a winner. We couldn't even really figure out who was the winner because we weren't really caring about score. And most games eliminate players as you go. The winner keeps picking off the opponents. Think about, dodgeball or tournaments or even Monopoly. You're just picking off the other players, and one by one, the winner picks off their opponents until they're declared a winner. And when that's happening, the group that's playing gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and another group begins to form outside the field of play. And that sense of belonging and inclusion is kind of eroded in that kind of playing. And quite frankly, it's why many people do not enjoy playing games, because they end up being a part of that outside group, and it's no fun. And I hope we can commit here to playing in this community in such a way that we're enhancing our sense of belonging, and that we are enriching our soulmate, playmate relationships each time we come together, that we are deepening our shared joy. Let's find ways to play together where everybody is laughing and all of us are having a good time, laughing till we're crying actually and running to the bathroom. Let's play. It's true. Let's play the way when we build something, let's play. Let's solve things together in our play. We've got to feel safe to loosen up and be encouraged by that shared authenticity. It's truly living in wonder, which is what we set out this year to do. Live in wonder. It's amazing to expand the communal joy, and that's wonderful. We create a culture where it's recognized as a real need, as a spiritual practice to laugh. Because when we can play together, we can create together. We can move through challenges in a more flexible way. We hold each other differently because we feel like we're all part of the same team. We become a deeper form of family. And what do groups or families make together? Memories. Memories. The more we play together, the more we bond as a group, the more memories we share. A few weeks ago, I asked everyone listening to the lesson to look back at your time here in this community and remember some of the meaningful moments. And I happened to glance up when y'all had your eyes closed and there were smiles on your faces, because I know you were smiling because you were remembering perhaps watching that beach sunset where Remy and his parents were going down the slide and we were all dancing to the drums and all of that. Or maybe you were remembering Kathy's big popcorn explosion during the movie night, not quite sure what happened there. Or maybe you were remembering winning a basket at Love, Wine, and Chocolate and the times we've come together to play. Or painting a wall here in this building as we anticipated our grand opening. So many laughs have been shared in this community, this group of soulmate playmates. I want to quote the profound philosopher Winnie the Pooh. He said this: "We didn't realize we were making memories. We just knew we were having fun." So in closing, I want to remind you of some of my salient points today. Number one, happy people are drawn. Happy, positive people are drawn to happy, positive people. Number two, embrace the idea that fun is a big part of your spiritual experience here. Number three, don't just watch the fun. Walk right in and say yes to being a part of it. Number four, always keep the circle open to invite someone new into it. Number 5, loosen the heck up and embody the joy. Number 6, play in a way that eliminates no one and always builds something. Number 7, make memories with your soulmate playmates. And number 8, let your soul meet another playmate regularly and often. So look at the person next to you and say, thanks for being my playmate. Will you join me in prayer? Here is what I know. That laughter, that joy that we just shared is God. It is Spirit showing up in that bubbling up inside of us. And it is so beautiful and it is so rare on Sunday mornings to be in a sanctuary and feel that laughter, that bubbling up. And I love that so much. I give great thanks for that. I'm thankful for each and every person who's a part of our community right here in this room and a part of our wider community out in the virtual world. I know that this community is a community of love and connection, and we make magnificent memories together. I'm so grateful, and so it is. And so it is.